Imagine sitting in a quiet diner on a rainy afternoon, sipping your coffee, the comforting sound of forks against plates in the background. Suddenly, the peace shatters. A thug storms in, loud and arrogant, his eyes searching for trouble. And there, in the corner booth, sits an old man, an 81-year-old veteran, his hands a little shaky but his spirit still strong. The thug sneers, mocking his age, mocking his service, and before anyone can react, he slaps the veteran across the face. Gasps fill the room. The diner freezes in shock. But none of them knew what was about to happen next, because just at that moment, the door swung open, and in walked his son, flanked by the roaring, leather-clad presence of the Hells Angels. Stay with me till the end of this story, you'll see why it's not just about vengeance, but about respect, loyalty, and love. And if you enjoy powerful stories like this, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the ones that hit straight in the heart. The old veteran's name was Frank. He wasn't just any man, he had fought in 2 wars, carried scars both seen and unseen, and though life had slowed him down, he still carried himself with quiet dignity. People in the town knew him as the old soldier who always left a generous tip and told stories of honor to anyone willing to listen. But on that day, Frank was tired, his eyes heavy, his body aching. He sat alone at the booth with a simple plate of scrambled eggs and toast when the thug noticed him. This thug, younger, stronger, and full of bitterness, had no idea who Frank was. To him, he was just an easy target, an old man to belittle so he could feel powerful. He mocked Frank's trembling hands, called him useless, said his time had passed. Frank's eyes, full of patience, simply met his without anger. But when the thug slapped him, the sound cracked through the diner like thunder. Plates rattled. A waitress gasped, holding her tray to her chest. The old man didn't fight back, he just closed his eyes, a tear sliding down his wrinkled cheek, not from pain, but from the humiliation of being disrespected after giving everything for his country. And that's when fate twisted the story. The door opened, and heavy boots stomped against the floor. In walked Jack, Frank's son. He was no ordinary man either. Years ago, Jack had chosen a rougher path. He found his family in the Hells Angels, riding with them across states, living hard but living loyal. To the outside world, they were feared, but among themselves, brotherhood was sacred. And Jack, despite his rough appearance, had one soft spot, his father. The moment Jack saw Frank's red cheek, his world froze. Silence fell as the bikers behind him filled the diner like a storm rolling in. Jack's voice was low, calm, but sharp as a blade. "Who touched him?" he asked. The thug, suddenly pale, tried to play it off, puffing his chest, saying it was none of Jack's business. But Jack's brothers circled around, leather jackets creaking, the smell of road and gasoline thick in the air. Jack's fists tightened. The diner, once a place for coffee and pie, became a battlefield of respect. Frank, however, raised his frail hand. "Son," he whispered, "don't do this. Violence only brings more pain." His voice shook but carried the weight of wisdom. Jack's chest heaved. He wanted to destroy the man who had hurt his father, but Frank's words pierced deeper than anger. For a moment, Jack closed his eyes, remembering all the times his father taught him about honor, about fighting only when necessary, about walking away stronger than those who tried to break you. The thug, sensing the tension, tried to slip out, but one of the bikers blocked his path. Jack walked up to him, staring him dead in the eyes. He didn't raise a fist. Instead, he spoke with a fire that burned deeper than any punch. "This man," Jack said, pointing at Frank, "gave you the freedom to walk into this diner. He gave you the chance to live your life without chains. And you, slapping him? You slapped every veteran, every soldier, every sacrifice ever made. That's not weakness in that chair. That's strength you'll never understand." The diner erupted in silence so heavy it almost rang in the ears. The thug's bravado melted away. He tried to mumble an excuse, but Jack stepped closer, his voice dropping to a growl. "Now you're gonna apologize. Loud enough so every soul here knows you're sorry." The thug, trembling, finally broke. His voice cracked as he muttered an apology, then louder when Jack's brothers demanded it. But Frank, with all the grace of a man who'd lived through worse, nodded slowly. "That's enough, son. He's already lost more than you know. And with those words, the lesson shifted. It wasn't about breaking bones or proving strength. It was about showing that dignity and forgiveness can disarm even the cruelest hearts. The thug left, humiliated, but with a lesson burned into him forever. The bikers sat down, ordering coffee like nothing had happened, their laughter filling the air. Jack leaned down, kissed his father on the forehead, and whispered, "I'll always protect you." Frank smiled faintly, his hand squeezing Jack's. And that's where the story leaves us, not with broken fists, but with an unbroken bond between father and son, between sacrifice and loyalty. It reminds us that true strength isn't always in the punch you throw, it's in the restraint, the honor, and the love you carry. If this story moved you, take a moment to hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more stories that remind us of what really matters. Respect, family, and never forgetting the ones who fought for us.